If you're looking for Chloe, too late. She's gone.
Not a good move.
I don't know. Seems to have thrown you. So tell the rest of them to back off.
You don't want to pick this fight, mate.
I didn't. And I'm not your mate.
Do you think you can hide everyone you care about?
Maybe I won't have to. Maybe I'll just go to the cops. We're not running anymore.
Do your worst.
Hello and welcome. This is Coastal News, a home and away podcast where we unpack the latest week's episodes and discuss the residents, their lives, and all the drama from our favourite fictional town, Summer Bay. Hello everybody and welcome back to Coastal News, a home and away podcast. We are Si and Sophie, your podcast hosts. How are you doing, Sophie, this week?
Hello. Yes, I'm all good. I have a Friday feeling going on. How about you?
I'm well as well, thank you. Yeah, but to let listeners in, we're recording a bit strange at the moment because we're both a bit busy.
Yeah.
So we're messing our body clocks up, I think, because it's Friday feeling on a Thursday, and was it a Wednesday last week?
It was. Yeah. That really messed me up.
Yeah. So tomorrow is going to be a tough day, I think, because I'm gonna have Saturday feeling tomorrow.
Oh, and are you at work tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was me last week. So I got the Friday feeling on Wednesday, and then I had 2 more days of work to do. I was like, this is wrong. This is not right. I've got tomorrow off now, so I'm like, yes, it's actually Friday feeling. This is legitimate.
Nice. Well,
yeah.
Go for it. Go hard on that Friday feeling.
Oh, I will. Don't you worry. I will.
This afternoon I finished work. I was like, oh, it's podcast night tonight. I'll have to go shopping, get some wine, get pissed. And I thought, oh, no, better not, actually.
Oh, yeah. You can't get away with that, can you, really?
See if we can get through this with a cup of tea.
Oh, not the same, but we'll manage.
Right. I know you're itching for your headlines.
I am.
Itching
Tell me.
for them.
Give me my headlines.
Lyric gains a new lead singer after holding some pretty trying auditions. I'm sure you'll agree. Alf has worked out a plan with Martha that saves him from having to give up life in the Bay.
Woo-hoo.
Interesting plan. I told you they'd come to some sort of weird plan.
It was weird.
Tane stands up to Tex and prepares the family for something bad. Regardless of who it upsets. The who being the operative person. So happy. And Xander starts spilling everyone's secrets as Cash has a very, very, very important question he wants to ask. So Lyric still not seeing eye to eye, where we could pick up from last week's podcast episode, and there's in-house squabbling with the band and Bob, and we left them with that divide, didn't we, last week? It was sort of Bob and Kirby on one half, Eden and Remy on the other. I can't stop myself. And you know, they'd agreed to, you know, it was about the future of the band, that having a regular slot at Salt was, you know, Bob was arguing that was backwards and the band's never going to get anywhere, yada yada yada. And when he's got Kirby on her own, he sort of says to her, I've had enough of this. You know, let me and you let's just go. Let's leave the band, you know. And she's apprehensive, isn't she? And he sort of feeds this ultimate. Was it an ultimatum? It was like, well, I'm going in the morning, you know. Come or not. I thought, it was a bit nasty, that, really.
It was a bit bad, wasn't it? Because they're not just bandmates, are they? They're a couple. So if he leaves, it's the end of the relationship as well as the end of them being in a band. So it was quite dramatic, really, wasn't it, for her?
I thought so. I thought it was out of order, and I thought if she doesn't tell him where to stick it, I've got no respect for her.
Yeah.
You know, I was getting a bit into it. I was like, oh, tell him to rack off. You know,
I don't understand what he thinks he can do without the other two. That's why I was confused by it, because as we were talking about last week, he's the singer, but he doesn't write the songs. Kirby writes the songs. And then obviously Eden and Remy are the bass and the guitar. So how does he think he can just go and sing songs without someone writing them or playing them for him? I don't get it. Like, what's he going to do? How's he going to?
Isn't that basically popular music?
Well, it is, yeah, but he's got no recording contracts or anything like that. He's got no way of making the music or writing them. I just didn't understand how he'd make it on his own.
Yeah, he'd not really thought it through, had he?
No,
You know,
he's just
he'd
had a
just
hissy
seen his
fit.
ass. Yeah. You know, and we've seen a couple of times they've all outvoted him, and I think he's realised, you know, that his ego is probably a bit too big for this band, and he just thinks he thinks he's further on in his career than he probably is.
Yes.
You know, he thinks his delusions of grandeur.
Yes.
You know, he thinks they're bigger than they are, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And the others are quite humble and, you know, and quite satisfied with. I mean, it was a good deal that Mac and Flick are giving him. You know.
Yeah, they just want to play music. That's what they want, isn't it? Whereas he's after the fame, isn't he? Let's face it, he wants to be the next big thing. But I can't see how he's going to do that without them. It's really odd.
Well, luckily, she did tell him to stick it the next morning, and
she did.
Yes, and I was like, "Go on, girl!" And off he goes in the lyric branded van.
No.
And now they turn to each other and they're like, "What we're going to do now? We need a singer." So they've got this impending gig booked in at Salt. Felicity and Mac have got lights booked that have cost a lot of money. You know, they've got everything in order, and they've no singer, so they hold these impromptu auditions. I did like when Eden was going around town putting the posters up, running rings around John, weren't she? John's like, we haven't been any of this.
That was brilliant. She was like, I can tell that you're not the kind of man that would stand in the way of two entrepreneurial women, John. And he was like, well, no. She played a blinder with him.
She did play him like a fiddle, can't she?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And there's a lovely scene with Key, quite a funny scene, I should say, with Kirby and Theo in the diner when she's putting a poster up in the diner.
It made me cringe.
I didn't mean to, but it was funny. And he's like, "Oh, do you want to be our replacement?" And he's like, "Your replacement boyfriend?" It's like, "No, you singer, you know."
Justin was just like, "Oh no, Theo, like that's not what she meant." I know.
Is that Justin the clingy stage dad vibe? Justin.
I know, bless him. Oh, he just wants to be in the band, doesn't he? And he's living through Theo.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you're right. It's like Theo's got an opportunity to do something I never did.
Yeah.
Type when he's pushing him to it, isn't he?
Yeah.
So the auditions go ahead. We've got Heavy Metal Screamer. I enjoyed that actually.
Yeah, it was interesting. What was the song? It was something like, oh, it's gone out of my brain now.
I'm so sad or something. It was something.
It was something like Witches.
Oh yeah.
Smell of Darkness or something. I can't remember. It was something really weird, like the smell of Witches' darkness. I can't remember. Very odd. He's like, "Do you know this one, mate?" Remy's like, "Nope." Not really.
It was some good light relief. I think the band have sort of fallen into this. You know how we talk a lot about the light and shade of the bay.
Yes.
I think the band are falling into that light space really well, and we're getting some good comedy and light stuff from them. You know, they're not dangerous. There's nobody after them.
Yeah.
You know, I think they're providing some quite nice and light entertainment. Do you?
I do. Yeah, I actually really enjoy them, and I like the fact that they are kind of tied to the Bay because they have got history with Flick and Cash. So it's not like they're completely random.
That's true. Actually, there is a link there, isn't there? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm quite enjoying it. I think I said that last week, didn't I? That I'm actually liking how I wasn't looking forward to it. I'll admit that, but I am actually liking how it's turning out.
Yeah,
and
pleasantly surprised.
I think with, and we'll talk about it later, but with Tane and Flick being caught up in the dark storyline that we're going to be talking about, this is what you need, isn't it? You need, one scene is going to be, you know, stressful and edge of your seat stuff, and then the next scene is funny, and that's what you need that balance.
I completely agree, and it gives you a little breather in an episode when you flip to it, you know, and you know, okay, because it is quite light and sort of surface level at the minute, I'm not that invested, but I'm not hating it, you know.
No.
I tell you what, I'm starting to change my mind about Demi Remy.
Are you?
Yeah, because I'm really not liking how he talks about women.
He is a bit of a Neanderthal, isn't he?
Yeah, and I don't know if I'm just sort of reading too much into it, looking for a flaw, you know, like you do as a soap fan. There must have been on this character. What is it?
What is it?
Yeah, or if he genuinely is like, but especially when like Ziggy's in the room, I can't stand him. You know,
really?
The way he ogles Ziggy right in front of Dean as well, despite being threatened with a guitar up his.
Is the jacksie? Yeah. I find it quite funny, I'll be honest. I quite like the banter. Yeah. If I was
how
Ziggy,
funny.
I'd be laughing.
I know. You're when I'm not. And but yeah, no. So it's not enough for me to be like, oh, can't stand him.
Yeah, but I don't. It's not a red flag for me what he's doing. You know, like some guys when they do this, it's like it feels predatory and creepy and dangerous. This just feels like a joke. Like he knows it's not going to go far because he knows that she's got a boyfriend. He's just doing it to wind Dean up, I think, to be honest.
Yeah, just to be a bit of a larkin.
I think he's just one of them that just likes to, like, he's just a Peter Pan, you know, not grown up yet kind of guy. I think that's the vibe he's giving me at the moment.
Yeah, okay. I'm keeping one eye on him because I'm a bit like, because that's something that we could maybe explore a bit later on. I wonder.
Yeah.
You know, but he does seem to be a bit of a ladies' man, and I don't really like that.
Maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's the musician. I've been around a lot of musicians in my life, and I think they're not all like that, but a lot of them are a bit kind of, because they're on stage, they've got that confidence, they've got that, you know, banter with the audience, and sometimes that spills into like real life as well.
Yeah.
So I don't see it as a harmful thing at the moment, but yeah, keep an eye on it anyway.
Oh, I will be. Do not worry. Well, the auditions draw to a close, and it's hopeless. You know, no one's really out. You know, there's no one good enough. There's no one who's you know, shone or stood out to the
saxophone guy.
Not even saxophone guy.
Kenny G. Oh, it's hilarious.
While all this is going on, Theo's back at home trying to get on with his TAFE work with Ziggy. Now, I've got quite a bit to say about this bit because the whole time Justin's like, what are you doing this for? The auditions are going to close, you're going to miss it, you know, distracting him. And Ziggy is trying to get him through, you know, if the cog spins left, X cog spins left, Y cog does what? And just say right, whatever it was. And she's trying to get him through the way. But do you know what? And the reason I'm a little bit cheesed at Theo on this one, and it is only a bit, I understand that's exciting. It's such a big shiny ball. And it's happened at the worst time, and all good things always are at the worst time, aren't they?
Yeah.
And he's got talent, and we get it. We've seen it, but Ziggy gave up a lot, right? She's give up her time. She's give up a holiday, time with her own family, her own sister that she'd not seen. She said herself she's not seen her for a long time. To invest in him, you know. And I know she's going all a bit hell for leather, and she's a bit, you know, knee deep. You know, she's jumping in both feet first, isn't she? You know, really committed, and it's a bit too much. But I think he made a commitment to her. She's held her end of the bargain, and I thought the least he can do is just get through the work and have a chat with Eden or whoever and say, you know, I couldn't attend the audition because I already had something done. It was a bit last minute. Will you hear me out now later on? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Am I being unreasonable?
No, I totally see your point of view there, and you're right. He could have handled it differently. He could have gone to the band and said, I do want to audition, but I can't make the time. But I'll be honest, I was thinking the opposite. I was thinking, just go to the bloody audition. This is once in a lifetime. You could do this in an hour. Like, the audition's going to take 10 minutes at the most, just one song, isn't it? And then, okay, we'll call you. You can just come back to Ziggy, you know, half an hour later. That's what I was thinking. But
yeah, or, you know, something like that, where he's still honouring his commitment to his apprenticeship, considering how much trouble he's just gone through to get back on it.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
It's a 10-minute audition. I think they made a massive deal out of it for no reason. He just could have just gone, auditioned. You know, we didn't know at that point that everyone else was going to be rubbish, and he wouldn't. You know, there's a chance he wouldn't have got it. It could have been what he needed to make him focus on the apprenticeship stuff, because they could have turned around and said, no, we've got someone else. Okay, well, I gave it a shot, and now I'll go back to my work. He needed to get it out of his system, and that's what I was thinking, because he wasn't concentrating on his work. It was kind of pointless her even being there. It was already wasting her time because he wasn't listening. So I think if I was Ziggy, I'd have said, just go and get it out of your system, go and do the audition and come back straight after, and we'll carry on. Do you know what I mean?
I suppose that would have been a good compromise, I suppose, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Well, because he does actually, because in the end, even though he's not paying attention at all and what have you, he still ends up going to the audition, and it's that typical cliche moment, isn't it? He's too late, they're packing up. He picks up the guitar and he sings anyway, and he blows all the socks off, and you know, and then we'll let you know, and it all gets decided over a game of pool that he's in the band. So,
if only all problems were sorted that way.
I know.
I'll start doing that now. I'm gonna get a pool table.
Yeah, that'll sort everything.
Won't it? All my problems gone.
So Theo's the new Bob. He's in.
He is.
He's in the band. There's some concerns because he's never played in front of a live audience before. If we're not counting Justin. But you know, he sounded good. My toes were curling. And he's in the band. I don't know what, you know, we're probably going to see a lot of Theo singing here now.
So far, I'll be honest, the music isn't my thing, but so far I'm not finding it all that. I do find musical things in shows cringy a lot of the time, because like we talked about last week, it just doesn't seem to go with the show. But because the last 2 times we've had singing to do with the band, one was the opening night of Salt, or the relaunch of Salt, and the other one was the auditions, because they were specific. You know, there was a reason why they were bursting into song. It's when they're just, when they're just sitting around and they just burst into song for no reason. That's when I sort of go, oh, what's going on?
Yeah, no. So were you okay with this his audition? Everything was.
Yeah, because there was a storyline behind it. Like, there was a reason why he was bursting into song. I didn't find it weird. I was like, okay, he's auditioning. I quite liked it.
See, when he arrived at Salt, I was like clutching the cushion, like, any minute now.
Yeah, I think for me, the weird one was when he do a picnic for Chloe and then just bust out the guitar and started singing for her, and that made me go, oh no. No, like, that made me cringe. But
there'll be none of them anymore. Come on to that anymore.
Good point.
Well, let's see. Let's. I think the more I see it, maybe I'll calm down seeing it. You know what I mean? But I was proper like brace position, ready for impact.
Oh no! Yeah. I don't know whether it's because I just like music and bands, and I'll be honest.
Yeah, but I do.
I'm Justin, and I'm jealous, and I'd like to be in a band.
You know, I like my bands and my music. You know, but that's not. That's just cool, and it's just not cool. Sing a band on a soap.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's cheesy.
It's
Yeah.
just not cool, is it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it was some hip drama show or some hip comedy show, it might. I don't know. It would just hits differently, doesn't it? But I don't know. I'm not saying Home and Away isn't hip, but
no, I know, but
I am.
it is a family in inverted commas show. Do you know what? I think it would work. You know, on Heartbreak High, if they had like a grungy band on there, that would probably work.
Yeah, exactly. Didn't they do a bit of that? It wasn't one of them a singer anyway.
There was quite a few. I think was Anita in a band. She was a singer, wasn't she? And then
the main blonde one, she was a singer.
That's Anita. Yeah.
Oh, is it? I can't remember the name.
Yeah.
There was a big storyline about her going on to a talent show, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Oh God,
like
going back now.
It would work in something like that. It's all young and it's all young people, isn't it? It's all school-based young people. Yeah. Whereas this, it feels a bit strange because half the cast is not. Well, most of the cast isn't young actually, are they? To be honest, but it's not a young cast.
Yeah, do you know what? There's a lot of talk about like the school age kids not being there now. If this was like a group of kids from the high school, it might sit different. You're right there.
Yeah.
I think you might have struck something there. If this was like, the kids from the high school setting up a band and trying to make it, that might have sat different for me. I don't know. We'll find it. We'll never know, will we? But I'm sure we've got lots to say, and I'll keep you updated if it feels any easier for me.
Please do. I'm waiting.
Did you know that you can play Coastal News, a Home and Away podcast, right from your Amazon Alexa? Just say, Alexa, play Coastal News now. And of course, you can still catch your latest episodes on all other podcast apps, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, Castbox, Audible, Player FM, and much more. Just search Coastal News, a Home and Away podcast right now, wherever you get your podcasts from.
Well, Alf is back from Merimbula very, very quickly. It was a quick chat. And he's saying to Rue, his heart will be wherever his wife is, because he, before he goes down there, declares that, he's going to have to leave Summer Bay because Martha's done this awful thing that we were talking about last week, trying to get, I'm not coming back to Summer Bay, and it making him choose. And we were like, what a bitch.
cheeky cow.
And he's back, and he's sort of saying, we've come up with a plan. Yeah. What was the plan again? 1 week?
1 week in Merimbula and 3 in Summer Bay. That's not the plan I was expecting. Is that what you were expecting?
No, it wasn't.
I'm really confused because the way that he was talking last week was like, oh, I can't be away from Martha for like, any amount of time at all. But this way, he's not with her for 3/4 of his life.
I know.
Really weird.
And last week he was like, can't be without her. My heart's with her. Yeah. I'm going to have to leave Summer Bay and everything I ever know.
But if it's only a week, why can't she come with him? I don't understand. Have they really thought this? I wish I was right there around the table and going, look, you guys, this is a weird solution. Why don't you do this?
I bet somebody was like, we should have killed Martha with the kidney.
It's starting to feel that way, doesn't it? Because we wouldn't have this problem.
I think that's Martha's exit. I think she'll remain off screen now.
Yeah, she will.
And Alf, it still gives Alf a reason to be dipping out of the show. Because he's part-time, you were saying, weren't you?
Yeah.
So, that gives him a reason to film a few weeks and then disappear for a week or so and then be back. Yeah. He can be toing and froing from there all the time. That's going to get monotonous very quickly.
I know. I really think it should have been, if it's only going to be a week without her, I think she should have come with him in that week. Or it should have been 2 weeks in Merimbula, 2 weeks in Summer Bay. Just
Yeah,
doesn't.
she don't want to do the travel. There's a conversation there about the travel.
Yeah.
You know, he's not getting any younger, and Rue sort of says to him, well, you know, there's trains and planes, and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
don't want to always do the driving. But I don't know. Rue's not sharing much opinion about it either, is she? You
No,
know,
she's trying to not rock the boat, isn't she?
I suspect this isn't closed. I suspect Alf has agreed to something that he's not wholeheartedly happy with. And in Alf fashion, I think he'll bottle it up.
Yeah, but if he, I don't know. I don't know whether, I'm not sure, because why? Surely this way round works better for Alf in that he's in the bay, his home, for longer than he's not.
I know, but you were saying, weren't you? If she is the love of his life,
Yeah.
you know, he's going to be taught. He's gonna feel that pull in each direction. And I think, I don't know. I just feel like that can't be it. You know, I've had a conversation with her, and this is what we're doing, and we're all happy. It just seems a little bit cut and dry.
Yeah.
I think he's agreed to something that's made her happy, thinking about her happiness, and I think he's putting his happiness down. There's a conversation again with Rue later in the week. Oh, well, I'm going to be around a bit more because Tex has quit his job at the caravan park, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And you know, and he's a bit like, well, I'm here now, and I'll do all the jobs, and I'll do this. So he's already doing the Alf thing where he just busies himself with everything,
Yeah.
and buries his head in the sand. You know, he's Alfing it again, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
So I think there's more to come with that. I think he's agreed to something he's not happy with.
I just think
which makes me unhappy.
They should have done 50-50. I don't think she's compromised on this at all. She's just gone, I'm not coming down there ever.
I know. She's not. You were saying last week it's out of order, or even saying this. And this is a conversation you'd have before you put a ring on it.
Well, a lot has happened since then, hasn't it? I think circumstances have massively changed since the wedding, haven't they?
Well, that's true, yeah.
Yeah.
But where you're going to live, really? Surely that conversation would have come up before now.
It would, yeah.
I just
don't. It just doesn't sound like a compromise to me. It just sounds like Alf's doing all the running and, you know, all the driving to and fro. I don't know. It just doesn't. She can't even come down for a week. You know, they could have done 2 weeks in Summer Bay, 2 weeks in Merimbula, and she could have come with him for the 2 weeks.
Yeah. It's rubbish. It's rubbish, isn't it?
It is.
I don't think he's happy with it. I don't think this will be the final plan. I think there'll be more discussion to be had. She's out of order, and like you say, they could have done a lot better.
Yeah.
And I think Al's better off without her if that's the way she's going to be. I'm declaring it now.
Oh man, divorce.
Fizzle watch.
Divorce. Are you putting that on Fizzle watch? Divorce her. Divorce watch.
Fizzle
watch. Oh, that would make me happy, to be honest. But there we go. It's not about me. It's about Mr. Stewart.
No, I know, and I feel like there's a sadness behind the eyes. It's making me sad.
Oh.
Right, Tex has run into Tane, and he has a quiet word with him outside the surf club. He's like, "Listen here, Sonny," and he tells him a job's going down next week. So,
God, yeah.
Basically, is the gym ready? Because we're good to go. And Tane basically just says, "What if I said no to all this?" And I thought, oh, hang on a minute, then Tane's getting a bit you know, he's getting a bit brave here, is Tane, because, you know, when we left them, you know, he'd been dumped back in the bay and they were closing the blinds and locking the doors, weren't they? Panicking, watching the loved ones like a hawk. So I thought, he's standing up to him here, you know.
I know, with one arm as well. Very brave.
I mean,
I'm sure I would, but yeah.
Tex looks like he's like a Yorkshire Terrier, isn't he?
He's a bit, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. Small, but you know, making, you know, looks like he could make
bite.
Yeah. That's the word. Well, Tex says, "You won't say no. I know you will." and he's threatening and dangerous music, and we're all getting excited.
Yeah, if you care about Chloe, you'll do what I say. I think he says, doesn't he?
That's the one. So, because he's seeing Chloe looking very happy with Theo on the balcony of Salt just prior.
That bit did make me cringe. My boyfriend's a rock star. I'm like, no, that I'll be honest, that did make me cringe. So
thank you. Welcome to the club. So Nick interrupts this conversation at the very end of it, and then he has to fill Nick in with that's Tex, and that's the one. That's the guy. That's the guy.
He's the baddie.
And Nick's like, what him?
That little guy.
Even Nick's confused. He's like, he helped me save a life the other day.
He helped me save some dude. I love
that was it. No, but I was like, no, Nick, that was Tex. This one's Tex.
This is bad.
Keep up with the evil twin walking around. So Chloe's on the chopping block. She's been directly threatened. They know her, they know who she is. So Tane and Nick are in bodyguard mode again, aren't they? And so they're back at the house and they're locking up, close the blinds again. The bikes are outside revving just to send a message and wind John up. And they realise they've left Chloe at the gym. So there's this weird sort of kick through a hole in the fence escape to go and pick Chloe up.
It's odd, isn't it? Because first of all, they leave Chloe at the gym with a list of jobs like change the toilet roll and clean the towels and stuff just to keep her occupied. And she's like, I just wanted to hang out with Theo. And they're like, no, you need to do this list today. Get on with it, Chloe. Because Tane says, she'll be, safer at the gym. They won't do anything with people around and all that sort of stuff. There's never anybody in that gym, by the way. Never anybody in. There's only ever one person in there working out. So they could easily kidnap her. I don't think anyone would notice. And
I've definitely seen
I'd help them
in there with a towel.
She has gone in. I saw Leah come out actually the other day as well. Yeah, that's true. But they're only ever in like one or two at a time. It's never chock-a-block, is it?
No. No.
Yeah, and then obviously they realise that they're being circled and watched, and I guess at that point it would have been a good time to try and get Chloe, because if they know both of them are in the house and she's on her own and they're not likely to turn up any time, that would have been a good time to actually get her, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I agree. I think that moment where they've wound Tex up, the bikers have turned up outside. I think they've thought, shit, we've poked the bear here. Panic sets in. Yeah. So we're gonna have to get Chloe back, and whisk her to dodgy motel.
Yeah.
Well, there is panic because then everything gets a bit frantic. Neek's frantically packing her bags up.
Yeah.
As Flick drives on, and I forgot at this point Felicity has been separate to this whole thing up to now. And she's sort of asking questions because they were lying to her last week, weren't they? It was just a text. I didn't read my messages,
Yeah. Yeah.
She's like, why are you all going AWOL and going mad at me? Going cray cray. So at that point, Nick he's no choice now. He's got to fill Felicity in because it's a bit of a safety thing now. They're everywhere, these bikies, and they've threatened them directly. So now Felicity's partial to it all. There's a decision made that Chloe is gonna go overseas.
Yes.
New Zealand, and I thought she took it rather well at first. She was a bit reluctant later when she couldn't make phone calls, but I thought, she's just sort of accepting this danger face value.
Considering she turfed her mom out of the country because she couldn't bear to be around her and sent her off to New Zealand, and now she's following her.
That's a good point. I didn't consider that.
No, so I was like, you made
she'll be at the airport
leave
waiting.
The country. I know. Now you're gonna go with your tail between your legs. Oh, can I come and stay with you, please? Bit awkward.
Yeah, I've not even considered that. It's a good point.
A bit strange, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, what did you think of that scene where she told Theo that she was going away?
Chloe did.
Yeah. Because Tane got her in the hotel room or the motel or whatever it is, and was saying, right, you need to go away. Nick's going to go and get your bag. This is the plan. You need to tell Theo that you can't hang out with him. And she's like, I can't. And then her phone is going off every 5 seconds, isn't it? Because Theo's trying to call her to tell her about the band.
That's it. Yeah.
And her phone's just going, and Tane's just sitting there staring at her. And I was like, tell her to answer her phone. This is driving me mad. Like, and then eventually she does, doesn't she? And talks to him. But I just found that. I'll be honest with you. I never want to go out with a Parata now because her and Neek are terrible at breakups. Awful.
Yeah, I think you even messaged me saying they're just brutal.
It's really brutal.
I didn't think the scene in question sounded as final as it was. But I'm not sure Theo is getting from that conversation that he's never going to ever see her again.
Oh no, definitely not. But it was such an odd, like I felt it was really cold. Like she answered the phone and she was like, "Oh, I've got to go away. I've got family problems. I'll be in touch." And I was thinking, if someone had said that to me, I'd have been like, "All right," like
you'd have been round there like a shot because you'd have been like, "Something's wrong."
Yeah,
I would.
Yeah.
The lack of detail raises immediate suspicion, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sounded very much like it's not you, it's me, which makes you go, okay, it's me, doesn't it?
Yeah. What have I done?
It felt like a brush off to me. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just the way it was played out. But I felt it was really cold and harsh for me. I was like, that he deserves better than that, a better explanation.
Yeah. He does, especially because he's so high. But this is what Home and Away does to us, and does to the characters. They get them really, really high, and then drop them. You know, and that will break Theo.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll find out in the coming episodes just how.
He hung up, and then you could tell by his face he was just thinking, "What just happened? Like, what was that?"
I suspect the disconnect you're referring to is probably from the performance,
probably,
rather than the method. But I don't know. You could be right, but it was a bit heartless and a bit cold, and it was. Considering the frantic nature and the rush and the danger involved. You would have expected it to be a little bit more emotion fueled type conversation, wouldn't you?
That's kind of what I was expecting, like her to be sort of, "Oh, I'm really sorry that I've got to go away and I'll let you know and don't worry about me." But she was just like, "Oh, I'm going away." I was like, okay, this is really odd.
Well, odd as it may be, Chloe's gone.
Well, yeah, that's the silver lining.
Chloe's gone.
Not a fan, were we? Really, we can't say we're sad because we're not, are we?
No, and you don't like every character. Everyone. And I suppose we're not supposed to. We all root for who we want to root for, but we could not. It's no secret. Regular listeners of this podcast will all know all too well that Chloe won't be missed.
No, sorry, Chloe.
Shame, really. Shame. I think her exit would have been better just with Mia if they both went.
Yeah, that would have made more sense, I think.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why we've held on to Chloe for a few weeks, really. Other than the Theo to be built up, other than the Theo stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is probably the reason. But I feel like for her as a character, it might have been better if she'd have left with her mum, having reconciled after Ari's death. Personally, I think that would have been a better closure on the character, because I don't like her, but I won't wish anything bad on the character.
No.
And what was my other point? I've lost it again. I keep doing this, Sophie.
Oh, it's age. It happens to all of us.
But yeah, I just think if you should have left with Mia, that would have been much better.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there wasn't any, apart from Theo, there wasn't any reason for her to stick around. And now, I mean, the Mia leaving was a bit awkward, wasn't it? Because they hadn't really patched things up, and she was just running away to leave Chloe and give her a bit of space.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to do that reconciliation off screen now in New Zealand because they've got no choice.
Yeah, which is a shame. I mean, I didn't like them two really, but I would
No.
have liked to have seen them come full circle after the
Yeah.
Matthew and
Yeah.
Ari drama.
Yeah.
It would have been nice to see it, but there we go.
Yeah.
The other breakup we had was obviously Nick, then video calls Bella, and we see Bella again.
Yay.
Now, there's been a bit of conversation online. I don't know if you're privy to this.
Oh, no.
It doesn't seem to have gone down too well. Bella's last scenes being these ones, and not the ones of her leaving to New York. And my initial sort of gut feelings were, oh yeah, it's really nice to see Bella. I'm glad they did that because we've had lots of scenes of Nick talking on the phone,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
to her or trying to talk to her on the phone. So it was nice that they'd actually filmed a scene with Bella there, you know,
Yeah.
and on the video. I my immediate response was positive.
Yeah, I think it was good to see her from our point of view. You know, these phone calls where we only hear one side of it and you don't know what the other person's saying. You feel it, they're a bit disjointed sometimes, aren't they? Because you don't really know how, you have to kind of guess how they're reacting by how the person on screen is communicating, don't you?
Yeah.
And you don't really get to see it. So I think it was good that we saw her. So what are people saying then? That they think that he should have just we should have just heard it and not seen it, basically.
Yeah, or because and the content of the conversation. So he was saying, "Don't come back. There's nothing here for you," and they're all a bit like, "Well, there's Dean, there's Irene,
I know.
There's all these other people for her."
That bit was weird. I don't think her being on screen was weird. I think that was actually quite good. But what he actually said to her was horrible.
But it's that cruel to be kind thing, isn't it? You know, because he's thinking he's trying to save her from, because she's saying to him, "We're done here. I'm coming back to the bay."
Yeah.
And he's trying to keep her away from the bay because it's dangerous.
I get that, but after everything that they've been through, they've been together for years, and after everything they've been through with her dad, her brother, all the stuff with the poker nights and everything else, why can't he just say to her, "Do you know what? Some stuff's going down here that's really dangerous, and we're caught up in it, and it's better for you to stay in New York and pretend that we've split up."
Yeah. He should just say that. Yeah.
It's so weird.
It's better that they don't know you exist. So just stay there for a bit. He could have just been truthful. Yeah.
Update your Instagram and put #single or something. But you know, I'll tell you when it's safe to come back. It's a bit weird.
It is. I think he's probably toying with as well because he's had this sort of rat-a-tat with Naomi, hasn't he? The last few weeks, he's been feeling a bit let down. I think he's been getting over her before it's over. Yes. So I think he feels like he wants to end it anyway. This isn't a good excuse. The fact that she's just accepting that she's now to come back for is a bit weird when it's supposed to be a home.
It is weird.
It probably would have been better, and this is what others are saying, if she phoned him and said, "The work's been extended. I'm going to be here for ages now.
Or I've met an American man and we're getting married."
Yeah, and he then ends it with her because of that, you know, and then there's a reason they've gone down that route. Don't know why. But I think it's probably more to do with Nick's inner. I think he's been getting over the relationship before it's over. He's not been happy for a while now, has he?
Yeah. Well, in which case, couldn't he have said that? Couldn't he have? I just think he should have been honest with it. Either tell her, "Don't come back right now. It's really dangerous." I think she'd have got that. Like her backstory, she would understand.
She's been around it all loads of times.
Yeah, I don't think it would shock her. "Oh, we're in trouble. We're in trouble with a bikie gang. It's really dangerous at the moment. Stay there. Pretend we've broken up. I'll let you know when it's safe to come home." Could have done that one. Or we could have done, "Do you know what? This girl tried to kiss me and it made me feel strange and it's questioning my feelings towards you. And, you know, I don't like this long distance relationship," or whatever it is.
Let's take a break. Yeah.
We could have done that.
Yeah.
Just don't come back. It's just so weird.
Yeah. Don't come back. There's now Apia Soz. It was a bit odd.
It was harsh.
But it was nice to see her. And it is a shame with her that ends up being her last scene. I get it. I get what people are saying, but I quite liked that we did that instead of just a regular phone call that we've seen loads of times.
Yeah, I think it's better when you can hear both sides of the conversation, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. We'd like to know the detail, don't we, love?
I'm just nosy. I want to see the reaction. You know, when Cash keeps ringing Jasmine and we're just hearing like the one side of it, we don't get to hear what she's saying. You have to kind of infer what's happening by what he's saying or whatever.
There's no way she's give you all that information in 2 seconds.
No, exactly. No, I'm just nosy. I just want to hear it all. That's it, I think.
Xander's avoiding his PTSD, his issues with work, and he's also avoiding Rose. And he, and he runs into him and Cash have this sort of Cash tries to talk to him, and he butts heads with him. He's like, "Now to do with you."
Yeah.
And he has a go at him quite publicly. That's when you were talking about Leah coming out of the out of the gym and like, what's up with him?
Earwigging. The ladies of the diner, all the tongues wagging.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And then he goes straight to Rose and he's like, why are you going around town telling Cash about about me and how I'm not coping? And I sort of that made me feel a little empathy for him, because I thought, yeah, that would be my initial reaction. It's, why are you telling Cash about me? Something so personal, as my something that I'm not really, something that I'm going through that's I don't understand. He's not really opened up to Rose, has he? They've had this sort of slanging match, and he's took his top off, but he's not really, he's not opened up to her.
Yeah.
So Rose doesn't know about it, but she seems to have had this full-on. I mean, little does he know, she's also had it with Tex.
I know. Yeah.
But I thought that I can't really blame him for being angry at that.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really think about that at the time. I can see what you're saying though. Yeah, it is kind of private. The way that I sort of saw it was she doesn't know how to deal with this. She doesn't know how to deal with this information. And she's spoken to Cash as a friend, hasn't she? And just said, look, I don't know what to do about this. It doesn't feel normal. He's telling me this is normal and that's how he copes with it. I don't think it is. And I guess, I don't know whether telling Tex was a good idea, but telling Cash, somebody that's also in a pretty stressful job, do you think this is a normal way of coping with stress? I guess that is a good sounding board to go to.
Yeah, you're right. And later on in the week, we come back to it, don't we, where he's calmed down a bit, and he and Cash do sit down, and Cash says that very thing, doesn't he?
Yeah.
We're all in. I'm in the cops, the ambos, the nurses, we all understand the job. We've got that level of understanding with it.
Yes. Yeah.
And
but you've made me think now, though, because you're right. It is an invasion of privacy that she did tell someone else. But I kind of saw it as she doesn't know how to cope with this, and she needs somebody else to help her get through it. And probably the best person to ask is a copper, really, isn't it? Someone else that's in a stressful job where they deal with death and.
Yeah. I get why she did it. I think.
Yeah.
I think I just agree with his response.
Yes,
being defensive, because I think mine would be, I'd be like, it's none of his business. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't even understand it. Why are you talking about me? Why are you gossiping? You're my sister. So right. I saw it, but that reaction made me empathize with him, because that would be me. It made me feel something. And the whole town saw these blowouts. Irene, Leah, we've mentioned. So Irene's like, sort it out, girly. And she finally has this dinner party she's been banging on about for 2 months.
Oh, what is it about family dinners in the Bay? Why do they always blow up into some massive? Has anyone actually made it to dessert yet? I don't think they have. It's crazy.
Mad. Well, Xander's assumed, because Irene's just making small talk about work, but I think Xander's assumed it's all fizzled up, hasn't it, inside him, and he's assumed they've all spoken. Yeah. And it's so this, like I say, I empathise with him, but this didn't come out right, did it? And he's blurted out, basically, let's talk about our feelings, shall we? Let's talk about those feelings that you're in love with your sister's brother.
Sister's brother? That would be awkward.
Oh my gosh. Sister's boyfriend. Oh my god. And then it's a bit like, grenade, and then run out the house.
No, he literally just pranced out, doesn't he? Like off, he was gone.
And of course, Irene has got a lot of questions. Then, of course,
yeah.
It was the wrong thing to do, but luckily it doesn't really, because I thought this is going to blow into a big melodrama, but it doesn't, and I was pleased about it. Cash calmly explains to Irene what's been going on.
Yeah.
And, I thought it was a bit out of line asking Irene not to say anything.
I'm still gobsmacked that she hasn't worked it out for herself.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely gobsmacked. She knows things. She's been around. She's seen it all over the years. I'd have thought she'd have picked up that Rose had feelings for him, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Well, we've said it on here, haven't we?
Yeah.
Come on, Irene.
Come on, Irene. Open your eyes, woman. I'm still shocked that she was like, what?
It was that moment, though, when Cash just goes, will you not say anything? And she goes, no, I won't. But you should. I was like, thank God for that. You've saved yourself, Irene, because I thought, are you going to start keeping secrets behind Jasmine's back?
No.
So anyway, fast forward. Xander and Rose sit down finally, talk it out, and he does. He breaks down, doesn't he? And he admits. He says, "I'm not." He says the words, "I'm not coping."
Yeah.
And
yeah.
He finally got to the point where he can say it, and he's telling people, out loud, "I've got a problem."
Yeah.
What caused this problem? We still don't know, though, do we?
No, I don't. I don't know. I don't know whether there's something more to it, because right now on the surface of it, it's just looking like when he loses a patient, he can't deal with that death. But I still think there might be something more to it.
Yeah, there's got to. We're thinking Freudian here, aren't we? We're thinking childhood. We're thinking past experience. Got to be there's got to be more to it. But this, we're saying, like we'd seen in the press a few weeks ago that Luke Manos had said there's a storyline coming up with Xander that's going to make people, really side with him. And I think this must be it. And I think he's right. This is working for me. I'm now starting to feel sorry for him. I'm starting to feel empathy. I'm starting to think, he's really struggling. I'm a far cry from Xander's a creep that we were at a couple of months ago.
A couple of weeks.
was it that soon? It feels like longer.
Yeah, I think about 2 weeks ago we were calling him creepy.
Are you coming on this journey with me, or are you still one foot over there?
I'll be honest, I've liked Xander since he arrived, and I had iffy feelings with him over the the patients that he was getting too involved with, but I didn't go fully off him. I just felt uncomfortable. So I think this is kind of helping to explain it. I hope this is it. I hope he isn't just a creep with PTSD. You know what I mean? I don't know. There still could be the fact he still could be a creep, couldn't he? We don't know, but this seems to explain it in a way, I guess.
Yeah. There's got to be more, hasn't there? He's only just said it. He's reaching out for help. He's rang up, Oki Health or whatever.
Yeah.
So let's see. I'm hoping, because the only way I can think is if we get to see his sessions.
With Dr. Hughes.
Dr. Hughes. Let's hope so. I don't know why she's stuck with us. It's funny though. Like that could be a way, because we could start opening up about, we'll hear from him directly what his story is.
Yes.
So I'm hoping we see those scenes anytime now, because he's made the phone call, hasn't he? And that's where we're up to.
Yeah.
With this story.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. I am still invested in when Jasmine left, Rose and Xander, for me, I started to go off them. Not because I think it was the Rose and Cash thing, actually, to be honest. And that whole thing I found it really boring. And why are we blowing this up into something that's not anything? So I did start to go off them, but now they're characters in their own right and not just Jasmine's siblings. I'm starting to like them again, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I feel like with you, and I think you were saying it, I think a while back, we need them fleshing out so that we can feel for them, because otherwise it's just annoying at the minute. And typically, we fall for it every time. We don't like we've complained about new characters coming in that we don't like, and there's nothing to them. We've just got to give them a chance for it all to unfold, and and like you say, let's hope he's not a creep with PTSD. I don't think he is. I think he's a nice, sensitive young man.
I hope so. I mean, that's who I thought he was. When they first came on screen, I did really like both of them. I've gone off Rose a bit, I think, because she's just drama and I find her a bit annoying. But Xander, I did like. And the reason I liked him at the beginning was because he seemed thoughtful and kind and genuine and all of those things. So when the creepy bit came out and we were thinking he's just getting too involved in these young ladies that he's treating as patients, it kind of made me annoyed, because I was like, I liked him and now he's being creepy and I'm not sure whether I should go off him again. And I don't know, now I feel like, okay, maybe he's not a creep and maybe I was right and he is just nice, he's just a bit messed up right now.
Yeah, you're right, he's definitely coming across as the more complex one of the two. And the one I want to know more about. So well, let's see where we go with him. So you mentioned Rose being annoying there this week, when a suspicion gets raised with Tex. We'll briefly mention it, we weren't going to, but she starts summoning the whole bay to look up his ID, and you think, but then in the next scene she's kissing him and hugging him out on the beach and trying to ring him. I was thinking, oh, girl, look at yourself. Do you know what I mean?
It was Tane, wasn't it? Tane. She went round to Tane because she saw Tane and Tex have that, like, not a confrontation, but there was a bit of an icy moment on the beach, wasn't there, where they looked at each other and it wasn't very friendly. And she was like, have I missed something? And he said, no, it's fine. But she wasn't convinced, was she? So she went round to see Tane and was like, do I need to know anything as a cop? And he was like, just, you need to work it out yourself, but he's not who you think he is. So
but then in the next breath she's like ringing him and like, oh, I've heard you quit your job, is everything all right? Just like, are you a cop or you're not? Are you have you got good head on your shoulders? Just get a grip, girl.
I think she doesn't want, I don't think she wants to spook him. I think she's got suspicions, but she's not going to come out and go, are you a bad guy?
I know, but the problem is she's half-arsed about it all because she's been using him.
Yes.
The person she actually has feelings for is Cash. She's using him. So she's half-arsed about it, really. So now she's just making general inquiries like, he's a bit weird. Can't find him on the internet anywhere. Just the American ones.
What's his real name?
Like, but if if your partner, you loved them and you were definitely like heavily involved with them, and you found out their name was wrong and they've been lying about the job, you'd be like, I'm raging about it. She's a bit half-assed, isn't she?
I would be on that police computer, because when we had that whole poker night affair happening, and she caught wind of just the initials PK. Flick mentioned PK. Rose had never seen this guy, didn't know what PK stood for, but she was on the database looking him up and trying to find him, and she found him in like lightning time, really. Didn't she? Just off 2 initials. I found this guy that's connected to this business or whatever, and she's not even tried to look up Tex in the police database. She's literally just using Google.
Yeah, very weird. It's typical Yabba Creek policing. Bloody awful.
It's a bit, what's the word? Not continuity error, I guess. Is that the word?
Maybe. Either way, Maz made an error not getting his ID.
Yes, well, cash in hand.
Alf's
Cash
been
in
paid
hand.
in cash. Yeah. And she just goes, well, I'm not the tax office, don't worry about it. I'm like, okay. Pick and choose what. But, you know, Alf's going over the speed limit by a smidgen. We're
Oh,
like,
I
whoa.
know. Yeah. Throw the book at him for that. Speed demon. I'm not over that. I haven't forgiven her for that. Maybe that's why I don't like her very much.
But we can't end the show without briefly mentioning Jasmine's on her way back to town.
Who is she?
I don't know. I hope she doesn't end up off the cliff with a kangaroo.
Oh God, CGI kangaroo accident.
Balancing on a wingman again. Because she's on her way back, and Cash is trying to paint over the cracks, isn't he? He's lapping on that emulsion, and he's announced he's going to propose to her completely out of the blue. What are we thinking about this?
Yeah, I have questions. I have many questions about this.
I thought you would.
I have so many questions about this. Do you know what? It wasn't that long ago that we were talking about Jasmine's birthday and how he didn't know it was her birthday, and he didn't know that she hated birthdays. And now they want. I mean, have they even had this conversation? Does he know that she wants to get married again after losing Robbo? Like, it feels like there's a big gap here. Like, they don't really know each other that well. Is he just doing this because he feels guilty?
Yeah, he's just saying it. He's just doing it. It's some big grand gesture because you know he's got feelings for Rose. Everyone now knows about it, so it's a matter of time before she finds out. And then there's the ex-Edens bouncing around town. She doesn't know about that either.
Yes.
So Jasmine's coming home to a bit of a shit show. So let's propose to her.
That's really weird. And you just mentioned Eden. Have you noticed Eden being a bit strange about Cash and Cash's relationship?
Yeah, like very involved, very what's the word? I'm
just really interested in it, isn't she? From it's a bit.
Every time he speaks to her, the girlfriend is mentioned.
It is, yeah. It's
a
bit strange. Like, she's a bit obsessed with it. Do you think she rocked up in town thinking that he'd be single, and then now that she's found out he's taken, she's actually interested in him?
Yeah, maybe she's one of those. Only likes him when he's got a girlfriend.
That's what I'm wondering.
There's history in there. Obviously, we know that, and maybe Eden, like you say, it's the confidence thing. She's in a band. Maybe it's that. Yeah. And maybe she just likes what she sees, and she normally gets what she wants. And
because
that's just the way she carries.
We know from the conversation that she had with Flick that Flick warned her off her brother because she said something like, "I told you not to go near him. You knew that he liked you." So I'm getting the picture from that years ago, whenever this happened, Cash was a bit of a puppy dog and followed Eden around, you know, and really liked her, and she probably knew about it. It probably helped her ego and that kind of thing. And then Flick's warned her off. But you know, when someone tells you not to do something, you just go, "Well, I want to do it now," don't you? So
absolutely.
So she's had this one night stand with him.
Yeah, and of course she doesn't know Jasmine, never met her.
No.
So really, it doesn't really mean much to her. Oh, he's got some at the minute, you know. And she lives that life on the road.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
Probably a life of no consequences in that department.
Exactly. Yeah, you're not around long enough to have a relationship with anybody if you're on tour.
That's it. You know, it happens, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, and you're off the next day, so who cares? Who cares what destruction you leave behind?
Exactly.
Yeah. Maybe it's something along those lines, which is quite interesting actually. It gives, you know, now I've got a big question mark over Eden's head. You know?
Yeah. Well, I was so interested in that because I was like, oh, is she going to try and like? Is she one of those girls that tries to break people up, and then as soon as she's broken them up, she's not interested in them anymore because they're single? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people are like that, aren't they? They only want what they can't have, and then when they can have it, they're like, "Oh, I'm bored now."
it's the chase they want, not the person.
Yeah,
that could be an interesting angle. I hope it is now. I hope it is. But yeah, anyway, so this proposal, I don't think it's going to happen, is it? I don't know.
We know
we know Jasmine is not coming back. So, but where we're up to on the storyline, she's on her way back to town, so I don't know how she's not going to end up there.
No, very odd. We'll have to wait and see. But did you not find it a bit strange that Cash told Xander, and then not only that, but then he was like, "Oh, and I need a best man."
Xander's face lights up.
Do you not have any friends, Cash?
No, he goes to work and goes to the diner. You know this.
He must have had friends at school or went in training college when he went to learn how to be a copper. I don't know what the word is, but you know what I mean. It's very strange. He just asked his sister's half brother to be his best man that he's known for 5 minutes. A bit weird.
I know. We need to talk at some point as well about
even John would be a better.
Oh, did you see John's mailbox, Palmer's Place?
Oh, I did. And I also saw his pajamas as well. John wears shorty pajamas.
Be more John.
I thought that was so cute. Your gym jams, John.
Right, that brings us to the end. We've covered about 7 episodes there. We've packed that in, Sophie. Well done. Well done.
I need to lie down now.
Oh, honestly, I can't keep up. You know, you're like, looking this way, looking that way, looking this way, looking that way. So we've made it. So thank you. If you also have made it to the end of this episode, don't forget you can find us on social media. Twitter and Instagram on the handle @CoastalNewsPod, and as always on the hashtag Home and Away. We're always there. Come join in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. And of course, you can subscribe, follow, whatever you need to do to make sure you're notified of future episodes of this podcast on your podcast app of choice. We're on most of them, and we list the most episodes. You'll know by now. Your Spotify, your Apples, Podbean, what's the other ones?
Player.
Amazon, Player, even Alexa will get you there somewhere. Make sure you give us a like so you don't miss an episode. Episodes every Saturday morning. Right, should we have a quick brief visit to the future now in First Look, Sophie, before we go? Just find out what we're going to be chatting about next week. Do you fancy it?
Yes, tell me.
Lyric put down roots in Summer Bay. We've seen those tonight, haven't we? Renting the old Braxton house, is that right?
I think it is, isn't it? Or is it
next door to John?
Or is the Parata house the old Braxton house?
No, the Parata house was a new one we'd not seen before over the way. I'm sure the Braxtons were next door to John.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll take your word for it. I couldn't remember whether the Tarnay house was the Braxton house or not.
There's been some hippies in there for some randomly.
Burning sage.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it probably isn't. Probably green, but I don't think it's sage.
Cash fears the worst.
Ooh.
So Jasmine doesn't turn up home, clearly.
Yeah.
Obviously. But, like, why? It's a bit weird. How are they going to write this in? Because we know Jasmine's, the actress, decided not to return whilst on a break, didn't she?
Yes.
So that must have been a writing nightmare, if I'm being honest.
I do actually know what happens, which is so annoying because I did see it on a spoiler a while ago. I won't tell you.
Yeah, because I have not a clue.
I won't tell you, but I'm not looking forward to it. It's going to make me cross.
Oh, God, is it naff?
I think so. Yeah.
Is it a CGI kangaroo? That's all I need to know.
I don't think there's a kangaroo involved. I could be wrong. I don't think so. I can't see how they would wangle that into the story, but we'll see.
God, nah, my heart's just sunk. Ziggy's apprenticeship plans get upstaged.
Ooh, that's a good pun.
I'm gonna say, yeah, that sounds like a bit of a play on words there.
It does.
Has Theo signed up for life on tour? It says here.
Ooh.
Oh, is there some weird contractual? Has he got a man? Is Justin going to be manager or something? Is he like signing away a mad contract, which means he'll have more money or something?
Well, they're planning to come back to the Summer Bay every fortnight, aren't they? And do a gig in Seoul. Was it every fortnight? So apart from that, they're free to roam, aren't they? So they should be going out and going on tour. So he is going to have to go away from the Bay, isn't he?
Gosh, so we'll have Alf 3 weeks on, 1 week off. These lot will be 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. Like, what's going to be going? We'll just have Marilyn wandering around, wondering what day it is.
It does still feel like there aren't that many people in the cast, doesn't it? There's about 20 of them, I think, and some of them aren't, regulars, or what I'd call regulars. Yeah.
I don't want any newbies yet. I'm still getting my head around this lot, though.
Yeah.
Cash struggles to accept his new reality.
Oh, okay, there we go then.
You'll know about that. And then Rue's first taste of freedom is unexpected. Oh, there was a gorgeous scene, wasn't there, with Maz and Rue walking. These walk and talk scenes they do.
Oh, yes.
And she's like, Maz says, you're free, you relax, for the first time in a long time, you've not got parent problem.
Yeah. Oh dear.
So,
get a life, Rue. Get a life.
I know. Get a man.
Well, yeah.
I wonder what's unexpected about it. Unless it is a man.
Could be. I mean, when was the last man? Was it that guy's brother? What was his name? The one that died, and his brother came up looking just like him.
Was it Harvey?
No, not Harvey. Was the baddie, wasn't he?
Harvey was missing at sea husband, wasn't he?
Yeah. So, Ryder's dad.
That's it. Yeah. What's he called? Ryder's dad. We'll do.
Ryder's
dad.
And then
another singer. Yeah.
And then Ryder's dad's brother, who looked, uncannily like him, turned up, and she had a bit of a thing with him, didn't she? That was the last one.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. I think Rue needs her own life, doesn't she? You were saying last week everything's about her parents.
Yeah, she needs another job, I think. I just don't think working in the bait shop and the caravan park is
fulfilling enough. Yeah.
No.
Kirby and Theo channel heartbreak into music.
That'll be Chloe then.
Chloe's heart, yeah. And is Theo a songwriter now?
I think he does write his own songs, doesn't he? Didn't he say that to Chloe? But he started to write his own.
Oh right.
Stuff.
God, it escalates quickly.
Yeah. So she's getting over Bob, and he's getting over Chloe. That'll be interesting.
Wonder what that one will be called. Xander suffers in silence.
Oh God.
Just speak, man.
I thought we were getting help, Xander.
Yeah, we're getting somewhere then. Cash needs answers from Jasmine. Oh, she's blown him off.
She's ghosted him.
Can a cop and a criminal fall in love?
Oh, this is Texas Rose.
God.
Yeah.
Does she learn about his criminal nature, but wants him? Mind you, there is something about a bad boy.
What about Brax and Charlie?
The answer is yes, but you'll end up shot on the kitchen floor, love. Yeah.
It's just the genders have been reversed, and apart from that.
Xander hides his pain, and the bikies send Tane a new employee. For the gym. They did plant someone. Now then.
It's going to do the books because Chloe's gone.
I was going to say, we were saying last week how they're going to get Chloe out of the way to pull this off. Well, obviously now Chloe's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to plant someone there, aren't they?
He's got to push the money through, hasn't he? He's got to pretend that 500 people turned up to use the gym last
week. The classes are all booked up. It's exploding in popularity. This is making me feel very nervous. I am not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Dean defends Bella's honour.
Okay.
And Tane puts himself on the line as Rose plays a dangerous game with Tex.
Oh, here we go.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting very nervous about this Jim situation and this Tex and Bikey situation because it's crescendo. There's a bit of a crescendo going, hasn't there? We're leading up to something here.
Yeah, it's escalating, isn't it? Definitely.
Feeling a bit nervous for old Tane there.
Poor Tane, he's had such a year. No.
Right, that's everything. We'll have to tune in to find out, Sophie. Tune in to find out. And we'll be back downloading it all again. Same time next week. Thank you very much for listening and following us and finding this podcast wherever you did. We'll see you very soon. Enjoy the rest of your week. Bye-bye.
Bye.